Now, I've been making anime videos for a long time, and I honestly can't remember the last time on video I have ever said I enjoyed a beach/hot springs episode to the point that I think it's worthwhile having in the episode count and it doesn't distract from the main plot going forward. But I can say Skate, for as insane, absurd, and ridiculous as this episode was, I am glad it was a part of the episode count. Because after 5 weeks of having some pretty intense skating and just honestly non-stop thrill rides, I think this was the best way not only to just decompress, but also give these characters a chance to bond, as silly as it was. We get a slight beach episode and a slight hot spring episode, but for the most part, it's just bonding. The number of times this episode had me rolling. I was laughing. Honestly, it's very rare, but this is like one of the rare cases where I was like, you know what, if I was a live reaction channel, you would get a genuine reaction out of me watching this episode. My jaw was open for the most part, and it was absurd. I mean, the fact that you end on this, like, is it ghosts, is it monsters, is it people dressed in mud, and you don't know what actually happened until you see the brochure kind of flying away when the credits are about to roll. This episode is insane, but it also does set up the future of this show, because for different reasons, these characters are all going on a vacation. Some to heal, some to meet ladies, some to relax, and some just because they have to be babysitters and your boss says so. The fact that these are all characters that I feel like are equally memorable in this cast and not disposable, because when I saw a lot of these characters like Joe and things like that, I was thinking to myself, oh, they would be some hot shots that we would see maybe 10 minutes worth throughout the entire run, and that would be that. But the fact that them, including Shadow and just Mia and all of them, it feels like we're building an actual cast with personality. And it feels like a group of friends who all love skateboarding, and yeah, they have their day jobs or they have their school and things like that. But they all come together and they bond and have an episode where they go on a mini vacation after literally going up against someone who has put people in the hospital for boarding against him. It's so nice to have an episode that rather than just being the cliche, here's the beach episode, here's all of the fan service, here's the abs, here's the booty shots, things like that, here's the hot springs, we're all taking a bath together and it's fun. Instead, the hot springs, literally, we see the hot springs for like 30 seconds and you don't even see them go in. The beach, you see, I guess you can say there's a little fan service in terms of like seeing characters like, of course, Langa, he's all shirtless, he's cruising on his little floaty there. But for the most part, it was just them goofing off on the beach and having hilarious antics. Like our boy here, he's literally picking up multiple women at a time. He's collecting more Pokemon than you can ever realize here. And I love the fact that instead of just like letting him be a playboy, they have Mia play up the fact that he looks very young and is able to be like, Daddy, Mommy wants you to come back, and just ruin the whole thing for him. Or even our boy Reki, casually ruining his flirting session despite really just wanting some training because he's realizing that he's being left behind, which is honestly a great character arc, I have to say, because it's something that I thought was going to happen, but Reki feeling like he's being left behind from Langa, who he views Langa as already way better than he ever has been, and he's been boarding longer, where Langa still views Reki as something that he admires because he understands so many of the technical sides of skateboarding, including like how to fix boards and things like that. So to have an episode where it easily could have just been exactly what we've seen before, what they ended up doing was they created a slice of life episode with some of the most Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtracks blasting in your ear. As they're skating around, you're seeing Langa's eyes light up because he's never seen the beach or hasn't seen it for a very long time, and he's just having a blast. It feels wholesome, it feels like there's bonding. And this is an episode that should have failed, or at the very least been mediocre. But because this is a show that understands that humor is a very big aspect to friends being friends and bonding and bickering and throwing it in their face, they understand that, they should push Langa in the ocean, or they should ruin the flirting because, really, this man doesn't need that many women. It feels like they actually know how friends should interact, and it feels like they've naturally kind of grown this bond, and I think I can speak for a lot of people. When we first started Skate, we saw someone like Shadow as the villain, the WWE villain, but instead, he's actually become someone who, he works at a flower shop. He's actually a pretty genuine guy, and he almost feels like the parental father role of this group, despite him not really wanting to, but at the same time is probably grown to love these lovable idiots, all things considered. This was an episode that didn't need to exist on paper, but seeing it, there is no better way to decompress after episode 5. We've experienced some great moments, some scary moments, some simple moments, but after having everything that we did with Adam, what better way to recharge than by going on a mini vacation? This is what more beach/hot springs episodes should be designed as, rather than putting the focus of them just bathing in a hot spring talking about the girls next door, or going to a beach and just ogling the females in their bathing suits. That's all you really see. Instead, what they did is they put the focus on them having fun rather than them just looking at characters in very sexual ways. That's all these anime episodes do. And it can only be used in that formula for a couple of minutes at most. So by making it feel like friends going on vacation, you don't look at this as a filler episode, you don't look at this as something that doesn't exist. There's no other way for these characters to decompress, both to heal emotionally, and in some cases physically, in the case of someone like Reki. And by setting this up, and I mean, you get a little bit of Adam, he's saying he's going to be throwing a tournament here, and that's going to be very interesting because Langa says he's not going to skate against Adam anymore, but he will. And Reki also wants to become better and better, and based on some of the connections he's starting to form a bit better in this episode, I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to get some secret training that Langa doesn't know about, and who knows what's going to happen next, right? I still highly suspect that we will have Reki versus Langa at some point in this anime. If you wanted me to throw a number out there on when, probably episodes 9 or 10, I would imagine, if they do go the direction of Langa trying to challenge Adam, Reki saying, don't do it, I challenge you first, and if I win, you'll listen to me, sort of a thing. But it's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do. This was a colorful episode. In terms of pure scenery, I think it was my favorite. I love the moment when you just see them first see the beach and they're all just kind of like in awe. It was a gorgeous scene, and it really kind of gave you that sense of like, maybe it's just because it's COVID times, right? And we really aren't supposed to be going anywhere. Just seeing like a beach just lit up, being like, I can't wait till we can go back to that and not have to worry about things, right? It's just one of those things that kind of lights your world up. And it was just such an exceptional episode that I can't believe I'm saying it. I'm glad a beach/hot spring style episode exists in a show about skating. I never thought I'd say it, but this is a show that's making me say a lot of things I never expected. Just like seriously, an episode that had hardly any crazy skating moves. There was a couple for sure, but an episode was just dominated by the soundtrack and slice of life banter. It was something that was so engaging, and while I wouldn't want to see multiple episodes like this, I'm really happy that one exists, and the fact that they placed it at the midway point, which that's usually how they go. They place them at the midway point. But most of these times, like, we don't need to see characters go to the beach and relax, but I think after going up against someone like Adam, there's no other option than to go on a beach vacation extravaganza, because you literally almost died going up against this lunatic. So have some fun, I have to say. I would love to know everyone's thoughts on this episode, because I think for the most part people are going to have fun. But did you personally enjoy it as much as me? Because I could easily see people saying, it was a fine episode, but it wasn't anything too crazy. But if you enjoy the humor and the kind of general slice of life banter, I'm sure this will be an episode that gets a kick out of a lot of people. But let me know your feelings down below. If you enjoy the video, leave a like, share your support, and hit that subscribe button if you happen to be around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.